Welcome back to round one here on How Not to Draft. I'm Jethro, who will be playing first. We have not been paired against Alex. Ooh, I think this is a keep. It's not a good keep by any means, but I think lands and spells 2-drop into 3-drop is going to be more likely to win than 6 cards. It's close. I mean, if one of those two was a land, we could probably mulligan. Obviously leading off with the plains here in case we draw Precinct Captain, which we want to lay down on turn 2. Ooh. Well, Concordia Pegasus does a good job against that guy. That's unfortunate. I think I'd rather play the Pegasus just because he's played a 2-1 at this stage. And if I draw another green, then Centaur's Herald on turn 4 is pretty good. You can go Centaur's Herald, pop it immediately into a Centaur, which I'm happy with. Yeah, your 1 toughness guys mean nothing to my 1/3 flyer, just so you know. My 1/3 flyer does not give a shit. Yeah, just going to play the healer here. It's by far the biggest thing on the board. And then, if I attack with the Pegasus, he can get back for him with the Familiar, but if he does, then I can get back at him with the Centaur's Herald. And since I'm now at 23, yeah, I should have attacked pre-combat. Really. Worth remembering that Joseph's Familiar is there. It's very easy to forget it's there, and that it has an ability. It means I should leave up 1 when playing my Instant and Sorcery spells. Not particularly relevant. My only Instant Sorcery spell right now is a Druid's Deliverance, which I won't be playing for a while anyway. But not irrelevant either. Sure, I'll take your 1. Look at me, I'm quaking. So start with my land, and then what could he have here? Could I make his guys indestructible? He could have the +1/+0 first strike thing. First strike lifelink, but I feel if he had that he would have attacked. To try and get my Centaur Healer on the blocking. So, not worth playing around. See here, Centaur's Healer is great. If he were to attack with the Dried Militant, what I always do is I block then pop. Because it's such a blowout if you pop then block and then they have some way to deal with your guy. But because it has the potential to pop then block as opposed to blocking then popping, hope you realise what pop means, by the way. He's not going to attack. And because there's a fear that his Dried Militant would die. And that also gives me information about exactly what kind of tricks he might have or not have in his hand. Obviously now he's tapping out, so he doesn't have any kind of tricks. Okay, he's got a 3/3. It's like a trick. I've been tricked! He's got 3/3s! We've got a 3/3, it's also a token. Not irrelevant. Okay, now we've got a 2/4. Aha! It's like a 2/4-1. It's not a 2/4-1, it's just a 2/4. I think I'll attack with the healer here. It's going to be a long time before we can scavenge that Croissant Monitor. I don't want to attack with the Centaur, because I might have to Deliverance just to make another Centaur now. Whereas that Centaur is important to me, and it survives, compared to the healer, because it's a token, and you can populate tokens. This is why apparently the flavor department gets very annoyed at Wizards when they print cards that care rules-wise about the difference between tokens and non-tokens, because flavor-wise there is no difference between that Centaur and that Centaur, but rules-wise there is, because I can populate one of them and I can't populate the other. Not unsurprisingly, he makes the trade of the 3/3s. So he's not playing around a trick, and now he knows I don't have one, so that's unfortunate. I could leave up Giant Growth, or I could leave up Swift Justice. I'm going to leave up Giant Growth. Make this guy, which shuts down all of his attacks. This is the reason, by the way, if you're paying attention, that Dried Militant is not fantastic, because he played it on turn 1, kind of when you'd think it would be best, and it has done shit all this game. Okay, the 3/4 Rhino holds off our team pretty effectively. Could use some birds. Yep, those aren't birds, so we're just going to play our land F6 and get in there with the 1/3 flyer. Which isn't great, he's got 3 cards in hand, but he's made all his land drops, so they're not necessarily 3 spells. But if he continues making land drops, eventually he will be able to scavenge that Cassandra Monitor, which will put him at an advantage. My plan was to kind of kill him before things got to that point. Yeah, he's not making any attacks here. I could Druid's Deliverance myself another Centaur. Really don't see the need. This Deliverance will be better than that later. I promise. Do I need to play planes here? Is there any advantage to playing a planes here? Not that I can think of. So I'm just going to F6, attack with the Pegasus, and then probably on his end step, if at all possible, make some eyes in my skies. More than happy to trade an eye in a sky for his Judge's Familiar on the attack. It's half my spell for his whole spell. Yeah, he's just exiling the monitor here. Onto the Judge's Familiar. Didn't see that coming. Should have. Did not. Assumed he'd go after the Rhino. Doesn't make a ton of difference, especially if he's holding it back on the defensive. If he wants to get aggressive here, that's pretty good for me. It means, because I think I'm in a good position to race. Yeah, so let's make some eyes in our skies. Hope to draw. I'm really glad I put the combat trick in my deck now, because I'm just constantly hoping to draw it. I could draw Trust and Eyes Judgment, I've got multiples of that guy. I could make centaurs, I could make birds. See, I think of this card as 2 birds, but it isn't. It could be 2 centaurs here. The centaurs are being held off by the Rhino, the birds are being held off by the Judge's Familiar. I should make birds, because I can Trust Eyes Judgment the Familiar, and I can't Trust Eyes Judgment the Rhino. I was there thinking I've got the same outs either way. Obviously it's exiled by the Dryad Militant, which is fine. It's never going to be at all relevant. Not even a little bit. Yeah, here I'll attack with my birds, and trade a bird and an Avenging Arrow for his Familiar. I'm fine with that. His Familiar is currently holding off my entire team of birds and Concordia Pegasus Eye, and since he didn't do anything other than exile his forgotten the name of it, the Cassandra Monitor, last turn, I can fairly easily put him on nothing here. Or on not much in hand, you know, nothing insane. Or no more flyers, since he put it onto the Judge's Familiar, quite happily. So here, Avenging Arrow, showing that it's not really at its best. I mean, it's almost a 2-for-1 here. It's like a... Because the Cassandra Monitor was a 1-for-1, so he put it there, which was kind of a 1.5-for-1 from his point of view. He's doing the right thing, sacrificing it. Doesn't help, I'll just pay 1. But by all means, he made absolutely the right play there. Good for him. Lanes and the Sorcery is exiled, and the turn is passed. Do I Druid's Deliverance just to make another bird? Does it put him on a significantly faster clock? Is that 11, which is the same as 12? No blocks. I think I will Druid's Deliverance, gain 3 life, which isn't at its best, but is fine, and make a bird, because he's clearly got some sort of trick. Or he wouldn't make that attack. Or, I don't know, a good post-combat creature? Like a great post-combat creature? Yeah. So... yeah. Okay, Centaur's held, sure. We end up trading Centaurs, I'm not unhappy. So... yeah, here I'll just attack with all my flyers. Photo lag, making it hard to tell whether you've attacked or not. So here he's on a 4-turn clock, whereas if I just left 2, he'd be on like a 6-turn clock, which is a significant difference. So he's just popping his own Centaur's held, sure. Up against the Selesnya Mirror here. I think my deck's better. I've got Trostani's Judgment, man. Not in hand, obviously. But a little bit manifold this game, but not significantly so. So last turn he attacked, so this turn I imagine he's also attacking. Can't think of a significant number of tricks to blow me out both ways. There's a common bond, but I counted for most of the common bonds during the draft. But I think I'll just trade... If I double block the Rhino... The thing is, he attacked last... If he hadn't attacked last turn, this attack would be way less suspicious. If I double block the Rhino, then something like Might of the Masses or Giant Growth just blows me out, eats both my guys. And I take 3. If I block 1 on each, Centaur on Centaur and Indrik on Rhino, he gets to eat my Indrik and trade our Centaurs, which I think is probably better. Or he can eat my Centaur, if he prefers, which is fine, because I've still got birds to populate, and in some ways I'd rather be populating the birds at this stage. Obviously I'd much rather be eating the Rhino than trading for the Centaur, but because I'm so sure he has a trick... Okay, he had the common bond, which completely blows me out if that's the case. And the post-combat flyer. Shit. Okay, well, I attack here and then use Chorus of Might to get through his Sunspear Griffin. Wish I still had creatures. I think this is still a race I win, though it's now really close, and really annoyingly close. If he doesn't block...